Hi, yes. Hi, guys. No, that's okay. That's okay. I do that all the time. I'm so sorry for telling me. Hi, sweet boy. You guys. This is Camille and Anthony Filippazzo. They are an incredible family from New York. And Camille, you have such a special story to share. Oh, it was such a pleasure to meet you guys the other night. I've been hearing so much about you for so long. And so today, now the world is going to get to know you guys, or a little bit bigger slice of the world.
Happy Friday,
guys. Well, take the floor. I would love to hear the story of Williams syndrome and your personal experience throughout it, and how everyone else can learn more.
Right? So Emily, first, thank you so much. Right?
Thank you so much.
I'm just so happy to be able to have met you guys and connect, really. So I'm so grateful to be able to share.
So Williams syndrome is a very rare genetic microdeletion along chromosome 7, which our little boy here, Anthony, has. The camera. And, you know, individuals with Williams syndrome have a whole bunch of different types of multi-system, multi-organ disease, namely cardiovascular disease. It's systemic, so it's really affecting their whole body from head to toe. So, you know, this little guy here is a heart warrior. We've had a pretty rough 11 years, like many individuals with Williams syndrome do. He just had a cardiac surgery this past January, and thankfully we're really doing a lot better right now.
We are.
Williams syndrome is systemic vascular disease. So they're missing a part of their chromosome that allows for the blood to flow through their bodies and their organs to stay open and be fueled with the necessary blood that it needs. And so, you know, it's a big challenge, but Emily, the goal, the mission of the Anthony Filippazzo Grant for Williams syndrome research is to not only raise awareness, but also to raise critical funding for much needed medical research. And that's what we're doing. Our goal is one day, fingers crossed, to have a therapeutic, especially for their cardiovascular disease. You know, having someone like you use your platform to give voice to a community that has been silent for far too long is just something that we are enormously grateful for. Williams syndrome has been around since 1961, and I think it's time the world know its name.
Yes.
Yeah. And know your name, Anthony. Camille, part of what struck me about this as well is because it affects around or less than 30,000 people in the US, because that's less than 200,000, it's considered an orphan disease, which means it's really hard to get public funding or even private funding. And you couple that with part of the challenges of the syndrome, like having anesthesia be really difficult, along with a cardiovascular risk. And it's just really hard. And that's why, though, I feel it's so crucial to raise public awareness, because it's such a small but mighty little syndrome that has mighty boys and girls on the other side of it.
Yes, exactly.
And the reality is, you know, far too many have lost their battle already, you know, to Williams syndrome over the years for reasons that we don't understand, because they're not being pursued and they're not being explored. And you know, having a child, knowing early on that he would need surgery and that he would need to undergo anesthesia, you know, that was just a fear that fueled me since he has been born, and you know, was my desire to start our fundraising efforts, start our serious pursuit into research, because, you know, we need change, Emily. We can't live any longer. It's 2023. And we need answers to these very complex questions, but they're not impossible, right?
Like doctors and physical therapy doing, like, they hold the mouth in the eyes for 10 seconds, like a shot, or the indication, like when we do it, we did it all night long.
Right. So, you know, part of what he had cardio over the last 8 years is that he would need to get basically partial suffocation with ice packs in order to reset his heart. And so, you know, the reactive force of his body fighting for air would be sometimes sufficient to reset the heart. And when it wouldn't, we would need to rush him to the emergency room. to get an intravenous line of medication directly to his heart to stop and restart it. So needless to say, those 8 years were very scary for all of us, especially him. And because of the anesthesia risk, we couldn't do the surgery until he was either 10 years old or 80 pounds. That was the goal before they would intervene, because they weren't sure if his body would make the surgery with the complication of the Williams and the anesthesia component. But actually, right before the surgery, there is an amazing study right now going on for individuals with Williams syndrome at the National Institutes of Health, and we are very grateful that we are a part of that study. It's a systemic elastin study as well as a cardiovascular study, and we are enormously grateful to have a brilliant team of researchers and doctors down there who are able to now look at his body, look at individuals with Williams syndrome's body in a different way, with a lot more information, a lot more data. And we're hoping that that study can really lead to some significant changes for our community in terms of their healthcare and in terms of bringing us closer to one day our dream, a therapeutic.
And can you share a little bit about, you and I talked about how the media often gets it wrong, and that can be frustrating, but that's so detrimental too to getting out what's needed, to getting out this awareness, is the accuracy.
And that AKG to the blood vessel, like fighting some air, and like just going over and over again. We started then rushed to the emergency room, like when they did a needle and shot and do the IV, and
that's all super scary,
and that's
right?
all super scary.
Yeah. I can imagine how terrifying that is, Anthony. You're such a brave boy. For your family too.
Very super brave girl.
Aww. Yeah. Aw. Rosa's very brave. All of you guys are. You all have been through so much. And Camille, Anthony wasn't diagnosed until about 2.5. Is that, if I remember correctly? So for 2.5 years, you were also struggling with even the challenge of identifying
another
this
problem
rare
with
disease.
the lack of awareness and the lack of understanding. You know, even though he was born a very sick baby with all different types of medical complications, and he had a cardiologist from the minute he was born, you know, unless you really understand the design, the way the heart, and know kind of where to look in the heart in terms of the supravalvular aortic stenosis and the pulmonary stenosis, and kind of looking at the coronaries in a different, with a different lens on, you're not really going to see necessarily the Williams, because they are these minute kind of kinks in the blood vessels. And so if you're really not specifically looking for that, you're not necessarily going to see it. So the way you properly diagnose a genetic disorder like Williams syndrome would be through DNA blood test. A microarray is specifically the one we used on Anthony.
And do the X-ray, do the gel, do the car, and
it's been a lot of medicine.
It's been a lot of medicine we take, and like
and testing,
and testing, and remember NIH, where we go to what do they do?
But we're alive.
But we're alive now.
And we're warriors.
And we're warriors.
And we're gonna keep fighting. And nothing's gonna stop us. Right?
Because we are Anthony and friends. And when we're here to help. And when they're strapped, we can beat the day.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can. That's absolutely right. Anthony, can you share a little bit about what you like to do? Some of your favorite things to do?
Spend time my family, have free up that time, and always spend time with my little puppy and my toys, and playing the piano, and lots of cool stuff.
Yeah, I've heard you are an incredible piano player. That's top of my list of what I want to do.
Tell Emily, where were we last night?
Last night we were in School of Rock concert, and it's phenomenal. And I was singing When I Come Around. I would do the warm up, and it's so great. And I did great yesterday, Mom.
You did. In a rock band, and last night was his concert at the School of Rock. He's the drummer. He's a singer and he's a piano player, right? And so
Yes.
it was incredible watching you. I was so proud of you and your friends last night.
Yes,
really.
and I introduced my friends.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, that's fantastic. You're the whole band, but you're in the best band ever. Oh, you guys. Well, can you share where everyone can go to learn more about your grant, about the association, about this trial, and what steps forward, what exactly,
Sure.
and how people can do that?
Yes, you can follow us on our Instagram page, AF Research Grant. We do have a website, www.wsresearch.org. We just had, as you know, when you joined us, and I'm so enormously grateful, Monday night at Valbella at the Park was amazing night. We raised almost.
It is amazing night. It is amazing night, and it's amazing night.
We raised $1,000.
Wait, how much?
Just 400,000.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible. And I have to, watching the number like go up on the screen when we were there, like it was incredible to see everyone's hearts for generosity. And Anthony, how much of an inspiration you are for so many people that want to help. And hey, that's incredible.
I did. And you know what? I did the speech.
You're
so cool.
I really think it's incredible to share that this little boy, we didn't know if he was going to make it the first year of life. Like, he was very sick. He had classic failure to thrive. He had pneumonia at 8 weeks, respiratory synthetic virus. I mean, we created a NICU in our kitchen. We christened him in our kitchen at 12 weeks old, instead of doing the big Italian christening like we had planned, because we weren't sure what was going on. We just knew we had a pretty lifeless child who was sick with a multitude of different things. So I share that with you, and then it's just always kind of snowballed over the years. And because I had some great mentors and some great support who really just told me about the importance, even though I didn't know I have Williams syndrome, of just to get therapeutic intervention as much as I could get my hands on. So ABA and occupational therapy and speech and feeding therapy. He was constantly vomiting due to his hyperactive gag. And so just the power of intervention early on. He was in fetal position, couldn't open his limbs. We couldn't even bathe him. I mean, everything was so extraordinarily underdeveloped and difficult. And so we used to work about 55 hours a week with therapists. It was around the clock, people in, people out, people in, people out.
People in, people out.
Would you ever know that, seeing this miracle, this joy, who brings so much joy to so many people today. And so I'm enormously grateful to everyone who's helped us get here over the last 11 years. It's been a tough ride, but we are standing strong, right, buddy?
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Yes, we are. And thank you for detailing that and sharing that, because as we watch this absolutely healthy, glowing, piano playing, drum playing, speech giving boy that is thriving, it's hard to comprehend that there was a time when it wasn't that way.
What is my favorite TV show?
Can you ask?
Can you please?
Oh. Yes, I would love to. Okay, what is your favorite TV show?
It's Dora the Explorer, because I love it. And there's Dora, Benny, Isha, Diego, Swiper, and so many games there. And watching it.
Yes.
Diego.
I love Dora the Explorer.
Yeah,
who doesn't love Dora the Explorer?
Oh, yeah. Have you seen Dora Diego since you're a younger kid?
I've seen it clips recently, but I haven't been able to watch like a full episode. So this is a good reminder that I need to go watch a full episode for sure.
Yeah.
Well, you guys, thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for being you. Have an amazing weekend. I'm going to put all this information below. So everyone listening and watching, please support this beautiful, incredible Filippazzo family and go to the Anthony Filippazzo Grant website. I'll put all the information here for how you can help and help spread the word about these absolute treasures that need our help. Do you want to say the last word, Anthony? Say goodbye to everyone.
I love you.
Bye, guys.
so much.
Aw, I love you more.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Talk to you soon.